not sure, yaar. They are not responding. So no issues. I'll talk to them later. Okay. Let's start with the theory part. Okay. So in theory, like basically we can cover the basics, what all terminologies are there in the Saviynt, and what is the linking, how it gets linked to each and other thing. Okay. So like in other tools, we have users, right? And accounts, and user account, then application terminology, right? You must have used application. So like users, accounts, applications, and you like have you heard the term entitlements? Like because in Saviynt we use entitlements, and entitlements are the permissions. Like in other tools we used to call them like roles, right? Like whatever roles we use, like to like for other personas, like admin persona has the different view, and end user has the different view, right? So what we
Hmm.
assign to make them different views is roles, right? How like if we assign an admin role, then he can see each and every tab in the tool. If we assign few limited roles, like only the user or requests, then he can see only the end user and the request part only, right? So same like that in Saviynt we call them entitlements, and entitlements are the permissions, right? And right, like this application import. So in like in Saviynt, everything we can do like using three methods. Like we can create user using three methods. Okay. Firstly, using the tool, using tool in the sense there in the whenever we used to click users tab, there is an option create user. But using that option, we can create only one user one by one, right? So what if we want to create bulk users? So there is a separate a utility which we call uh, bulk user creation utility basically. So in that case, what we can do is download the template from the Saviynt tool only. They provides the template. Okay, and by filling that Excel sheet, okay, like whatever details we want to create, like first name, last name, and email ID, or user status enabled or disabled, whatever value, end date, start date, whatever value we want to populate, we can populate and upload that sheet. But what what's the benefit of this sheet is we can create bulk users in one go, right? But in real scenarios, in real projects, what we used to do is reconciliation using the direct we can say direct system with the, like HRMS system. If it is a database, then we can connect using the database, right? And if it is a LDAP, we can connect using the LDAP. Create the LDAP connector, and in the job section there is a jobs section. Jobs basically means uh, in ICM you must have heard life cycle rules, right? LCRs,
Hmm.
right? So here we have jobs, simple jobs. So we connect using connectors. What we can do is just run the just run the job, they are for different uses. They are different jobs pre-built. Okay, like for user import, there is a user import using schema or using database uh, job. Okay, using that job we can import bulk users in one go. And in real scenarios we use this only, right? Because in projects we won't upload the files on daily basis, right? We just connect the system to the HRMS system and run the job and schedule the job on daily basis, like twice a day or four times a day, like this. Okay, so same like that we can import the accounts also, import the roles also. So accounts is like account, target applications replica, right? So whatever accounts the target application is already having, if we want to replicate them, what we do is it is called the reconciliation, right? So firstly we create a adoption policy, and adoption policy we call it here is technical rule. Okay, so technical rule, update rule, there are different rules there, in Saviynt. Okay, so using that rules or using that jobs, firstly we can run the application import using schema or application import using database uh, job, right? So there means, I mean, I just mean to say, for every import there are three methods. First is file, second is direct using the tool create option, and third is the jobs part. Jobs is the most realistic and most practical usage in the projects, in the hands-on part, right, in the industries. So like, because we used to schedule the jobs and automatically twice a day or four times a day we used to run according to our convenience, and everything gets imported and synchronized automatically, right?
In jobs, we can create users, we can delete users, and we can
Right.
reconcile the system.
We can reconcile the system. Jobs is basically LCR in this IC, right? So using LCR, what we do is we just used to run the workflows, right? Using LCRs. Here, what we do is we just using drop down, we just attach the connection. We just like in the drop down, we just mention which connection we want to use, and there are different options. Like if you want to run the full import, if you want to run the delta import, or just the what we say, uh, yeah, like full import, partial import, or in accounts there are two options. Like if you want to import accounts or access. Access means entitlements, right?
Hmm.
Because every application has entitlements as well as accounts, right? So in account import there are two options, but main configuration is connection. We want to we just have to firstly attach the connection, from which connection we want to import the data, right?
Hmm.
And what it does is usually like so firstly it creates the connection, it creates the connection, and after that it imports, and post import and post finishing the job it shows the summary, how much account it has imported, new accounts, how much it has updated, like whole summary,
Hmm.
creation, deletion, and updation for users as well as for accounts. And same is the part for roles. Okay,
Okay.
so these are the main terminologies. Basically, I want to make you familiar, like user, roles, entitlements, and accounts, right? Because in ISIN we used to call them groups,
Hmm.
entitlements, right? We used to call them groups, and entitlements get attached to accounts, and roles gets attached to user always, right? Because using roles, what we do is using roles we make the personas, like what user can see in the tool once he logins with his username or password, and what he can see in the system, because
Hmm.
only admins can see the whole tool. Otherwise every other employee or every other person has a limited access. That is what we use the we use this IAM tools, right? Like least privilege access and least access. You must have heard these terminologies, right? So this is the main usage also. So that they can just use uh, as per their convenience and as per their requirements.
Hmm.
Manager can only view their reportees and request for them, that too for the third party. And if the manager is from the main organization only, then he can just approve and reject the access, right?
Hmm.
So these are the main usage of rules. And there is one more term in the Saviynt. What this is? Sav roles. Sav role makes the system like what uh, like permissions within the Saviynt. We can say Sav roles are permissions within the Saviynt. Every other entitlements are the permissions of target application, right? But Sav roles are the permissions within the Saviynt. Okay,
Hmm.
so that I'll show you later. Okay, and uh, what else we can see is just second. I have prepared the data file also, but I'm not sure why they are not responding, and I don't have any update yet. That's the only uh, installation part they are something dealing with. In morning they had updated, but not recent update. Okay, so import, import using.
Like, what is the issue?
I don't have any clarity basically, so that's why I'm not sure. Otherwise, I would have helped them resolve it. So okay, and one more thing I want to tell you is while importing using the Excel file, so there are multiple options also, right? So let me show you this if I can share this.
So you are not able to share your screen.
I'll check. Are you able to see?
You have to maximize.
Hmm? Hello? Now?
It's not visible. Like, I can't read anything.
Mm, but I have shared the full screen here. Now also. It's a screenshot. Okay, so I was telling you, like we have multiple options while importing the file. Like we can also take if we want to generate the username or not. Generate system username. System username is like when importing, there is a unique username also for every user, right?
Hmm.
Which is which must be unique for every user, which cannot be repeated, right?
Hmm.
So if we like there is an option if we want to generate yes username or not, yes or no, generate email ID or not, yes or no, and where we configure is in the security system. Security system is the like main what do we say, main tab where we like where we create our application, where we import and configure our application. Okay, so in security system, there is a sub tab endpoint. So these are the terminologies. Endpoint is like actual application where we for which we can say this is our application, this is the target application endpoint. Okay, So in endpoint, we configure uh, by what name we want to create the email ID, by what name we want to generate our account name. Okay, so like these things, where like I'm telling you, where we can configure these things. Okay, and after that, this is the user creation part. It would be better if I can directly create and show you, know, then it must be better. Okay, okay. Otherwise, if we can. I've asked them to reinstall it so that better to diagnose where the issue is. We can reinstall it. So because it it won't be of any use if I just tell you these theories. I have to show you. Right? So in icing, you must have used the adoption policy, right? Adoption policy and provisioning policy, right? So in Saviynt we call it as account correlation rule. Adoption policy is used as correlation rule. Okay. Whenever we reconcile, firstly what runs is adoption policy, because within system it checks what is the adoption policy, whatever it is importing, with whom it has to adopt, with whom it has to attach the account, right? So same like that in Saviynt we have account correlation rule, user correlation also, and account correlation, like account correlation rule. So what it used to do is whenever we import accounts from the application, it checks what is the correlation rule, with whom, with which user it has to attach that account, right? There must be some rule like first name dot last name should match with the first name dot last name of the user, or employee ID should match with the employee ID of the account, like this. Then only the account will get attached to the user, right? So,
Hmm.
and there is one more rule, account name rule. Using that, we can create by by what account, by what name our account will get created whenever it will be created in the system. But because in reconciliation, whatever the account is already created, it will get just imported, right? But whenever Saviynt will create the account, it needs some account rule, right? So that is called as account name rule. So my screen is visible to you or not?
Yeah, now it's visible.
Now it's visible. No? Okay. So this is the rule screen, like mm, this is the account rule, account name rule screen. Like this. What we used to do is uh, we just mention in the from the drop down. It shows all the attributes. Okay. So like system username, and here we can write how many characters we want, one character, two character, or if we don't mention anything, it will take whole system username as the account name rule. Okay, and we have the advanced query, also advanced configuration, in which we can write the SQL query or regex SQL query, also like concatenation of first name dot last name, or first character of first name and last name, right?
Hmm.
Substring we used to do in SQL, right? So that in that way we can use the advanced configuration also. This is the basic configuration tab, and by clicking on advanced configuration, it will allow you to write the SQL query. Okay. So same like that, let me show you the above particular screen is visible. So this is the part I was telling you. Like once we click on the users tab, right? Once we click on the users tab, it will show you actions tab, right? So in that we can create upload user. Upload means upload using the CSV file. Okay, and create user means creating one user. Okay, so in upload part, it will show you this uh, pop-up. It will allow you to select your sheet CSV file. Okay, CSV, it will ask you which delimiter you are using, comma or semicolon or whatever you are using. Read first file, first row as a header. These use generate system username, yes or no. Generate email ID, yes or no. Check rules. Check rules. I'll show you later. Basically, check rules means whatever rules we will be creating like technical rule or update rule. So it is asking while importing, do you want me to check the rules or not? So usually we don't check the rules, but in in practical scenarios, we we click it on yes like in project scenarios. Okay, we we always want to check the rules before importing, so that if there is any if there is any uh, by default birthright account we used to say, right? Birthright account, we if we want to create, then it will create immediately once the user is imported, right? So that's why we uh, click on yes and check the rules, right? User pre-processor configuration JSON is basically used like if we want to do some manipulation with the data or on any attribute. Okay, uh, before importing, like it usually used in the full name part, right? In the sheet we have mentioned first name, last name, mail ID, and date, start date, right? But there is no full name. So in JSON, in pre-processor JSON, what we can say write is uh, write a code for the full name bracket, first name, user dot first name, uh, user nom dot first name space user dot last name, right? So like this it will create the full name. Okay, so and here when then we click on upload and preview, it will show you the screen, upload and preview. So what it is showing is whatever data you have populated in the sheet, it will show. But sometimes it it not automatically shows you the tabs. Okay, like it will not show the email tab, email. Then what you have to do is select this drop down and select the attribute, because we have to tell the system whatever column it is, we have to let the system know like in which attribute we have to import the data, right? If there is no attribute header mentioned, then where it will import the data. Okay, so we have to tell it like this is the manager of the user, this is the employee type of the user, this is the status key of the user. Okay, and once we click on import now, it will show you the preview. It will show you the summary, like it has imported this many users, one user got updated and others got inserted. Okay. Mm, Avinash, are you there?
So what he is trying to fix?
Uh, the basically Apache Tomcat part.
Okay, no problem. You can take 5-10 minute break if it fix.
No, but they are fixing. No, they don't require you in that part. They have the admin access.
I don't know why it happens every time.
Uh, but today he has committed like it. He will fix it at any cost. Let's see. Uh, okay. So later I was telling you secure concept of security system and endpoint, right? So security system is the basically in Saviynt what they have done is they have modularized the things very much. Like for each and everything there is a sub menu, and like in ISIM there were only like workflows, there was only LCRs, there is no configuration allowed or there is nothing allowed, right? But in security system in Saviynt they have made security system as a sub tab or a main tab, I would say, and endpoint is a sub tab. So security system is category of applications. Okay, like you say, like just imagine you have the Oracle type application, and uh, there are 5 applications which are using Oracle database. Okay, so what you can do is and using the same database, same connection or same database, you can say, right? So what we can do is we can create a security system by the name Oracle. Okay, and under that security system we can create multiple endpoints like Oracle Financial Services, Oracle XYZ Services, Oracle ABC Services. So what I mean to say is one security system can have multiple endpoints. Okay, and security system is category of applications, whereas endpoint is actual application. Okay, actual application which has the accounts, which has the entitlements, which has like whole data of the target application. Okay, like mostly we use Active Directory. Okay, so Active Directory is the security system, whereas uh, like your company's LDAP like is the actual endpoint. Okay, because Active Directory is the type of application, not the application, right? So you can see the screen, and like here security system name, Active Directory display name, and it shows multiple other options like if we want to do automated provisioning, enable or not, persistent data, recon application, yes or no, default system, like these things, right? Now we are on the endpoint. Endpoint is like it is what it is, actual endpoint name, which is of type Active Directory. Okay, endpoint name Active Directory, again they have mentioned in the test data, and we are linking this endpoint with the security system, which is Active Directory, and it is a drop down thing, right? We have to select, which means under security system only we can create the endpoint. It is not like we can create separate entity as a endpoint, right? Under security system only we can create the endpoint, and every endpoint should have linked to at least should have linked to security system. Okay,
What is security system here?
security system is like I told you, like it's a container of or a container of endpoints or a category of applications. Okay, so security system we mentioned which workflow the security system will follow, right? Workflow can be same because workflow like two level of workflow it will follow, right? But in endpoint the actual data is there. Security system don't have any data like what I mean is target application, target accounts or access or entitlements. Security system won't have any data. Endpoint would be having data. Okay,
And endpoint as for Wintel, it will be
application,
the
target
Active
application,
Directory.
right? For
So
Wintel, it will be Active Directory, right?
for Unix, it will be Unix servers, Linux
Unix
servers.
servers, right. So endpoint is what we treat as the target application. Okay,
So where data is stored.
where data is stored, right? From which we would import the data. We, we would reconcile the data into the Saviynt.
Hmm.
Okay,
So reconciliation will be done between the endpoint and the source.
target system and the source, right? And the like
Source
main,
will be the HRMS
yes,
or whatever.
not HRMS, the tools.
Yeah, yeah,
Reconciliation is
whatever
done
the
between the
tools.
tool like this ISIM tool or Saviynt tool or like this, not that. Okay. Uh, now here comes the two concepts of account correlation rule and account name rule, right? So in to create like it has written to create the user account correlation rule, click on this. So where we found this setting is like here is a screenshot. Okay, so under the endpoints it will show you these configurations. Okay, so what each configuration mean is like firstly two concepts are important: account correlation rule and account name rule. What I told you is account correlation rule is simply the adoption policy you must have used, right? Adoption policy, uh, which mainly runs whenever we reconcile the data, right? Because whenever we reconcile, then only it wants to know, right? Like what is the adoption policy. Like I am importing the data, but with which user we have it it has to attach the data, right? So then only the correlation rule comes into the picture. What it is using is system username. System username is like, let any account has the first name dot last name, like, right? So what it will use is whenever it will find any similar name, it will attach that account to the this particular user, right? And where it come to know, eh, from the account correlation rule. Okay, we can create any complex rules also using the advanced query like SQL query. Advanced configuration allows you to write the SQL query. Okay, or using multiple rules also, concatenation of multiple rules. Like it is asking you, system username should match with the account name. account का कौन सा पैरामीटर, account का name attribute जो है वो system username से match होना चाहिए, right? It is simply matching. Adoption. Okay,
Okay.
is it clear? And if the target application is having some complex uh, account name rule, like I told you, first name, first character of first name, then last name, then we can use advanced query also, right? It is showing three rules in concatenation because like adoption policy must be stronger. even I would say strongest, because it won't be a problem if the account is not get attached to a account user, but but it would be a problem if an account get attached to wrong user, right?
Hmm.
So that's why adoption policy must be the strongest policy in the whole system, right? So why we have mentioned three rules here is, like, it must be strong. System username should match with the name, and username should match with the name, and email ID should match with the custom property 20. Custom property in Saviynt, whatever extra attributes are there, we call them custom property. Okay, like external property or whatever attributes are there in other tools. In Saviynt, what we call them custom property. So what we are configuring is these three policies should match in the ending. Then only the account should get imported and attached to the user, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so like this, account name rule, I told you, that from here only we started this. So account name rule is uh, by which name we want to create the account. Whenever the Saviynt will create the account, what name should be given to the account, right? So this is what we are giving. Say system username, we want to give the name to the account. Or here we can say email ID, employee number, whatever the company's policy is, whatever the target application told you. Like these are the requirements which we get using the like during the requirement phase, right? Only the target application can tell you what name they want to give to their accounts,
Okay.
right?
Uh, I have one question. Like, suppose the account on which we are working, they have 2000 Unix servers, 1000 Wintel servers, right?
Mhm.
So, how we manage those servers with this Saviynt tool?
Manage basically means, firstly, like if you are saying servers, then this is not a PAM tool. Servers gets imported into the PAM tool, not into the identity tool, right? It's PAM, privileged identity manager tools are different, which manages the privileged accounts, privileged servers,
Hmm.
and identity management tool uses manages the employees of the company, identities of the company, right?
So identities will be stored somewhere, no, on the servers.
Ah, for the servers, okay, okay. So for then,
Because suppose
ah,
we have to create users on 1000 servers.
mhm, mhm.
So how we will do that here in
Okay.
Saviynt?
In that case, each server would be each application, right?
Hmm.
Each server would be each endpoint. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that, we can create 1,000 endpoints. Okay.
Hmm.
And within, like, using that single endpoint, we can configure account name rule should be this for all the all the endpoints. In that case, what we would do is, for 1,000 Unix servers, we create one security system as Unix, and 1,000 endpoints as the Unix servers, Unix applications, right?
Hmm.
And
So
in
how we
each of
create
the
a security system?
basically there is a tab, I would say, like in the identity repository, there is a tab security system. Okay, and it would allow you to create like it is currently selected endpoint, but once we select the security system, it will show you create security system option.
Hmm.
Okay, simply. So right now it is selected endpoint, so it is showing you create endpoint.
Hmm.
Okay,
So we will import the list of servers in this.
We can, yeah. Import basically means users you are asking, right?
No, no, uh,
The whole configuration you are saying.
no. I'm saying like, do we have to create endpoints one by one?
Yeah, yeah, right, right. One by
Well, then it will be very lengthy process to create 1,000 endpoints.
right. Because thousand, I would say 1,000 endpoints. Yeah, because security system and endpoints we have to create them. Only user, account, entitlements, roles we can import.
So that I understood, but to create users, we need to create endpoints, no?
Right, right,
So endpoints are the servers basically.
right. Endpoints are the part of
So for Active Directory, we understand there is one Active Directory.
and it has the multiple or bulk like thousands of or we can say the whole organization data.
Yeah. So, but Active Directory is a single entity, right?
Right, right. This is
But at the same time, if there are standalone Wintel servers which are
it.
not connected with Active Directory, then we have to create those endpoints separately, because only the domain servers are connected with the Active Directory, which are in the domain.
That's it. That's it. So,
You got my point?
yes, 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 yes. Also. And we have to create one by one only. Or we like if all these are connected, like yeah, servers must have some connection details, right? So there must be some if the connection details are common, like if, yeah, but if they are different servers, then there must be different detail, different URL, different IP address, different username, different password, right? So
Mm.
each server would have different connection.
No, username will be same, but server name will be different.
Mhm. So that in that case, we have to create different connections because IP address
Like,
must be same.
like one user, a new user, employee joined a, uh Unix team or Wintel team, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Like one is the internal user, one is external user.
Right.
So sometime the client for which we are working, they have hired 10 people for some project.
Right.
So we have to create the their user IDs on all the servers on which that project will work.
Mhm. Right. But for that, I would say the CPAM tool is used, not the identity tool, right? Because they must be using the privileged IDs, not the normal user IDs.
So that tool is the Saviynt is not doing
Saviynt
that.
has the different, no, Saviynt is not doing that. Saviynt has different module itself altogether, a CPAM tool, Cloud Privileged Access Management or Access Management basically we say. Privileged Access Management is the module. So no,
We are
normal
talking
Saviynt would
about
not do.
we are talking about identity management only, no?
Right.
So it's part of the identity management, the creation
No,
and deletion.
no, no, no. You are taking it wrong. Identity is single, like you are the identity, but
Hmm.
the ID you are using is not an identity,
Hmm.
right? It is the privileged ID.
Hmm.
You are using your ID somewhere else, but
Hmm.
you are the identity. The accounts you would be having within an organization, you can have Active Directory account, you can have Oracle account, you can have financial or Oracle financial account, and XYZ different accounts. So
Hmm.
you are the identities, and you have multiple bank accounts, so you have the different application accounts. But
Hmm.
one, but when you are saying 10, when a company has hired 10 people in the organization, and 10 people are using their IDs, privileged IDs, to log into the different servers, then it is
Hmm.
not the identity, it is the privileged ID. It
Hmm.
is altogether a different concept, right? So because privileged ID should be must have password rotation, security, must have audit audit security, like uh, company must know whatever activity they are doing, it must be audited, it must be recorded, it must be like, yeah, secured. After every user check in check out, it must be secured. So for that, what we use is privileged account, right? Privileged access management, PAM tool, we say. So it
We
Saviynt has the
we
different
call
module.
we call privilege account to those that which is meant to do certain jobs.
Right.
And there are two types of account: a privileged account and non-privileged account.
Uh-huh.
Non-privileged is the simple user ID,
Simple user, exactly.
and the privileged account is
Root
uh,
accounts, root IDs,
yeah, root IDs,
root
which
IDs.
can be used by the multiple people.
Unix team, yeah, shared IDs. They are shared
Shared ID.
IDs. They
Yeah.
are shared IDs and used by Unix team to log into the multiple servers, right? To the same, like to the servers. So when you are logging to the server using some ID, then it must be privileged, right?
Yeah.
Because normal ID should not have the access to the server,
Hmm.
right? So that's why there is a separate module, privileged access manager, PAM tool.
Hmm.
So, but in Saviynt, what we are managing is the organization. Organization basically means, we when we say 10 people we have hired, so we are managing these 10 people. When they have joined the company, when they are leaving the company, what account they need, what access they need, right? And
Hmm.
when they want to update some details to the company, that updation should happen in the Saviynt. So that is what we are managing in the Saviynt. We are managing the employees, we are managing the
Okay.
identities,
Okay. Now I got you.
right?
So we are not managing the servers and all.
Right.
So this is only with respect to the HRMS.
No, we use it for XYZ, any application, like which has some accounts, which has some entitlements. Like I said, like I told you, Active Directory, right?
Hmm.
So Active Directory has different views. Like
Hmm.
admin person must be using some admin account,
Hmm.
T0, T1, T2 accounts, right? So at AD has different views, different account level, huh? And same
What do
like
you mean
that,
by views? The
uh,
permissions?
like say, whenever you used to log in into the your Outlook, right?
Hmm.
So or say, uh, let me give you some example. Outlook is some different O365. It comes to the O365 team, right? But like say AD team must be using T0 account, which allows them to reset the password, to change any account, to delete the account, right? But AD team will never give you any AD server access. Okay. And if they by chance, if they give any server access, they will give you only read access, right? They won't allow you to update anything onto the AD, to delete the server, to delete the user, to update the user. They won't allow. right? So same like that, there are different permissions in the AD also,
Okay. We will manage those permissions with
right?
respect to
Right.
the people, what they
With
are
respect to the people, right,
what
exactly.
what they are eligible to do.
What they are entitlement to do, what they are eligible to do, right? Exactly. With respect to their job level, with respect to their jobs, right? That is what we called least privileged access, right? Zero trust and least privilege. So here comes these terms used into the picture.
So we will be handling shared IDs here in Saviynt or not?
No.
Okay.
Shared ID concept comes into the privileged module.
Okay.
Here we mostly and mainly use only individual IDs, identities, right?
Okay. But we used to do everything there
And
in IBM.
ISIM,
No, in IB, yeah, in ISM. No, no, not in ISM. In our uh, project.
in the Saviynt, it must not be a Saviynt project, right? In ISIM, you are saying, right?
Yeah, ISM is
IBM,
also doing the same thing.
ISIM has some, ISIM has one tab only. It's a shorter or I would say lighter version of PAM already installed in the ISIM part. So it
Hmm.
has the shared ID concepts,
Hmm.
shared ID concept where we can use, but it is not recommended always because IBM has the ISAM or PAM module separate
Hmm.
JIAMA tool if you have heard JIAMA.
Yeah.
So
Now
JIAMA
it's
is,
laid off,
but
I think.
yeah, it is sunset. So they have just the lighter version of PAM already installed in ISIM. So if the organization want to use, they can use. But in Saviynt, there is a separate module, CPAM, and here we just manages individual IDs, not the shared IDs.
You heard that UAT tool?
Which tool? UAT.
Hmm.
UAT is basically, I think, unit acceptance testing, server or
It's
level of.
IBM tool. So they are doing all these
Mm,
things via that UAT tool. It's their own tool.
okay. I haven't used that. So it is identity plus privileged identity, both,
Yeah,
right?
everything. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. There must be. Just a second.
Abhilash fixed the issue or not yet?
Oh, there is no update. There's no update. I think him on website also, but so like I was telling you, security system, there is a separate tab of connection. Okay. So under security system, there is endpoint. Endpoint is also not having connection details. So connection details are altogether different into the different tab, connections tab. Okay. So here what we mention is type of connection. Type of connection basically means type of application. If it is a AD connection, if it is a Oracle application, if it is a database type application, or a file connector, or a workday connector, right? Or REST API, SOAP API. So type of connection it is asking. According to that, it will populate the schema. Okay. because every connection has different type schema, different details they need, right? Database type needs JDBC URL, right? Driver name, whereas AD requires just the URL, username and password, right? So different schema it has for the different type of applications. So
Hmm.
like that, we have AD, we have connection tab where we create the connection, like to whatever server we want to connect. We create the connection, and firstly we mention type of connection, then in lower they have not shown here, but it has multiple parameters like URL, username, password, or create account JSON. And in connections in Saviynt, we use JSON as the internal coding. Okay, like in ISIM we use JavaScript always. If within ISIM we are coding something, we are using JavaScript in ISIM, but in Saviynt we use JSON. Okay, uh, so it will ask create account JSON, update account JSON. So what that means is whenever the Saviynt will create the uh, AD account, but all parameters it want to populate, right? That all parameters we will mention in the create account JSON. Same like that, we want to update the whenever we want to update some account, then update account JSON will comes into the picture. Okay, so here we create the connection, and under endpoint, yes, yes, this security system, under here we mention which connection we want to make it in use. Okay, under the security system. uh, it is a repetitive, I would say, uh, because tomorrow also once the Saviynt will be back, I have to show you everything, and then only will be like I was telling you jobs section. Okay, job control panel. So it has different panels, right? Like type of jobs, I would say. Data type of jobs is like application import, okay, user import via connection, application data import, and same like that roles import also there in data.
If we do in the Saviynt, then it will be good, like side by side,
Yeah. That's
like
what I'm
this,
saying. You will be able to
it will be
it going
hard
somewhere.
to, yeah, correlate.
If you, yeah, we can continue tomorrow also. Like he is committing with me and telling me that today we will fix.
So what is the challenge? Like I am not able to understand.
Because Saviynt is a cloud-based tool, right? URL-based. So that Saviynt URL itself is no problem. That is the,
Oh,
so
so
somewhere in
they
the,
have not used it earlier or what?
I'm not sure.
So they have not given training for Saviynt to anyone yet?
No. It's not like that. Whenever we stop the service, it's a server, na. Whenever
Uh,
we stop the server, uh, it is the chance. There's a chance the services gets corrupt, right? So now, yesterday when he was trying to run the service, it was not running up. So
hmm.
that is where he is facing challenge. So I told him today, like better if we, because sometimes the services gets corrupted. No issue. It's not like weird thing. It's normal. Sometimes it happens.
No, but
So
before session we need to test everything, right?
yeah. So that's where we in like from afternoon only is trying to fix. Uh, in afternoon only, that's why I've pinged him. Like if the saving issue is fixed or not. So he's saying he's working on that, but it is not yet fixed. So I told him like it would be better if we can reinstall it, because
Hmm.
reinstallation would not take this much time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.